right, y'all, we're back, and we're gonna bring it to a topic that's very near and dear to the Mats on Air community, and that is throwing shade, and how we don't like that, and give us your thoughts on that, Tatiana.
Well, I want to say, like, why do we have a society that I'm seeing more and more? It's not a new concept, of course, but why do we celebrate attitude and reading somebody, that's like a new thing everybody wants to do over just being kind. How about just being nice to somebody that did nothing to you? How about that? Rather than everybody wanting to get a reaction out of somebody or tear somebody down. Like, what is the point, in my opinion? Like,
well, yeah, it's really unfortunate. I want to bring up like social media's role in this, and how it affects people of all ages. So the young people, we're getting to the point where these people have grown up with this stuff. I mean, we don't feel it because we remember the time without the cell phones and the computers and everything.
Absolutely.
But I was talking to somebody
the other day that
I know, man. I was talking to somebody, and I couldn't wrap my head around the fact that YouTube has been around for half their life. Like, I remember way before YouTube was around. What?
Yeah.
I remember way before Internet
I remember
Explorer.
MySpace.
I remember before Internet Explorer was around, and I mean, some of you kids may not remember a time before Google Chrome and the multi-tab concepts.
Yeah.
I mean, just stuff like that. It's a whole other culture that's happening really in cyberspace, and it's being created. These behaviors are being created by cyberspace in a way, like just our behavior
and
our
regurgitated,
right? And that sharing thing,
yeah.
It's even more pervasive than the television. Yeah, because you were able to unify the cultures of America with the TV, but it's
reality
almost like
TV is
reality TV is crazy.
Celebrates that all the time. A lot of people go to see who's gonna get told off next, and then that's who gets the applause. Why not? Like I said, like stand up for someone, or do like I said, how about just being nice to someone who did nothing wrong to you at all?
Right. And a lot of times I feel like, this is a sticky topic, but it's like with mission trips, religious mission trips. For me, and it's not an indictment again, but it's, do I have to bring my God to someone to help them? Could I just help them with their village and help them with their crops, or help them with whatever disaster has occurred without bringing any? It's like they have their culture and beliefs and rituals. They're different from I am, so I'm going to have different cultures, beliefs, and everything. But the human help factor can extend beyond that, and that's what it's about. The human health thing, helping another human being, can extend beyond your differences.
Right. And it says so much about someone's character. I mean, that's what you're talking about. Yeah, I agree. You totally don't need religion to help somebody. Like, of course, if that's your path, that's fine, or whatever.
Right.
But I'm just saying, it's like you said, how we're all different, and thank goodness for that. Like, how boring would it be? You know what I mean? I can't stand it. Like I said, so much of what we see, it feels like, do you ever feel like, even when I'm in class sometimes, you see someone's whole, like, the way they do everything is just regurgitation of somebody that they see on TV, and then they like it, and then other people, they love it so much that when they see someone being rude to someone else, they're like,
think
ooh,
it's funny,
and then they do the hand clap, and then the person doing the, being mean, they like that reaction. That's why they do that.
Exactly.
To them, they've accomplished something, which, like we were talking about earlier.
In fact, they haven't accomplished anything.
Exactly. It's their own insecurity, and they're trying to validate their existence, like, by someone else's reaction. But how about getting the right reaction for the right action? I mean, like, what is all this negativity about? I don't know.
Well, also, like, social media's impact on the older generation is having, there's a lot going on there where, parents are trying to avoid having that separation from their kids. I think I think the difference from generation to generation has increased exponentially over the last 4 or 5 generations. Right? So we're much different from our parents. Like, the way we grew up, we started, in what these kids will call a stone age. And now we're in the phone age, so, but our parents, they started even way further back than we did. There was no digital display when our parents were children. There was no digital.
There was
display.
no color on the TV.
They couldn't transmit. They couldn't transmit wavelengths of light. I mean, and now it's something that we take for granted.
Yeah.
but it's just we live such different lives, and adults. I've seen a lot of adults, repeating and following behind children, just to I don't even know why really, just to I guess keep from losing touch or I don't know, but it's created like these new behaviors that exist online for the sake of cyberspace.
Right.
To share this and to show that. Sometimes it can be for good, but unfortunately, it's used, for irresponsible purposes as well. And so you see the older generation acting a fool, and so any young person who sees the older generation copying the young generation is gonna. I mean, it's a series of just copying each other.
Right, just
copying each other's
cycle.
bad behavior.
Yeah, instead of moving forward.
Right.
And like we were talking about, okay, the other thing is the concept of being real.
Right.
And I mean, why does real have to be something like some people be like, I'm just too real for everybody. They're like, I just don't have any friends because I'm too real. Okay, so real, does that mean you have to walk around with an attitude and have to tear people down? I mean, I'm all for bluntness, truth.
Right,
absolutely. I believe being direct is the best way with someone. That's how I try to be, but there's always a way to do things. I mean, there's a difference in tearing someone down.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, there comes a point where if someone doesn't agree with you, you just have to accept that someone doesn't agree with you.
Right.
And a lot of times people blow up over the smallest issues. Of course, little debates here and there, and people, well, I don't want to talk to you. It's like, well, y'all just had a disagreement, and y'all just didn't have the same opinion.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
That is
y'all
okay.
Not the same person. We're not a hive mind. It's okay that you're different from the other person you're
Thank
talking
goodness.
to.
Like I said.
And it's funny. I like how you brought that up, saying thank goodness we're all different. But there's a flip side. It's like, well, what if we were, say, like the animals, okay? Animals, they're partly different from each other. But I'm sure that they, it forces them to maybe pay more attention to the differences between each other just to understand, okay, this is that one, this is that one.
Yeah.
So maybe we're not understanding the differences, which we're not appreciating the differences. And so we handle them irresponsibly.
I think,
cutting people down, like you said, and things like that.
I think that's what it is. I think it's the way that we're handling the differences because, like you said, some people, they're open to it. Like, I try to understand and see someone else's point of view. You're not always going to agree with it. Like I said, like, I'm not always agreeing with what I hear, but I'm still going to hear them out. I'm just not automatically going to shut them down or criticize them just, based on it. I mean, things, like, I'm not trying to say that things don't get heated sometimes. Of course they do. I mean, we're human, but there's just, you're allowed to have a different opinion, and to me that's what makes things interesting. And sometimes, and then when you find out when you do have similar opinions, that's interesting too, of course, because then you can go further on that topic. But I mean, I don't know, like it goes like you said, it's just the way we handle those differences. I think some should be celebrated, of course, and then others you have to do that old line, let's just agree to disagree.
Right. And I think I like to say that in a positive way, like let's agree to disagree. Not that I don't want to stop talking to you or you're stupid. No. It's, we just have concrete different opinions.
Yeah.
That's
and
all
it's
it
not
is.
changing.
And it's not changing. We're not, we're both resolute. We're both sound in our mind and everything. We're just not going to change. So, that's, if both people can agree that there will be no further change, then the argument is actually ended. And if you continue to argue, you're just creating a bad situation.
Yeah,
like,
someone's gonna get mad.
When the change stops, I mean, the reaction is over. It's like science. Once the change has finished, the reaction is over. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not going to continue changing. It's just going to continue being what it is. So stop hitting it with a hammer. It's not going to do anything.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's. I know I compare a lot of different things, science and sports and all this, but it's just, I look at things from such a monolithic point of view. Like, I think so many things can be looked at the same way across different situations. Okay,
let me ask you this. What would be your definition of being, quote, real? Because we already know what society's thing is of being real.
Being real, I think, is being able to filter out all of the information that you're given. Because really everything, sight, sound, it's all just information into the brain. So it's just information, and you have to be able to process the information. That means knowing the context for the content. So, you got, if you don't understand, like tattoos, like a lot of black people, they don't know that we were tattooed and branded and, you know, done many things were done to us in slavery. And, you know, had they known that, would they do these things, get the tattoos, get the brands and stuff, and the excessive piercings? Like, would they do that if they knew? You know, I'm not saying that they don't care. I'm not saying, you know, it's just, you know,
You're breaking it down.
It's just information, you know, it's just information. How do you filter? How do you process it? And, you know, a lot of it has to do with that, you know, and I think if you can process it to the best of your ability and, you know, come out with and really maintain your sanity and stuff, then you're real, you know.
Right.
If you end up, you know, final thoughts here, if you end up in, you know, too much denial about what's going on in the world, then you've lost touch and you're no longer real. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And just to piggyback off of that, just being your authentic self, I mean, that's real. What's realer than being yourself?
Right.
I mean, you know, that's what I want to say about it. I mean, like, I don't think, like we said, just to reiterate that point, you don't have to tear somebody down and be real. I'm all for being direct, telling the truth. That's fine, but you can do all that without being so negative.
Right.
D-Head, do you want to give your opinion on what is
Final
being
thoughts
real?
on this?
Oh man, say look here. If you can't be the same person you are on Monday as you are on Sunday, you're not real.
Yeah.
Okay.
Straight like that.
And exposure. Get exposed to stuff, y'all.
Yes.
Because that's why you don't know some things sometimes. You just never seen it before.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Thanks again. This has been another Malcolm and Tatiana show. We thank you. Golden State Warriors, congrats. Hope y'all win that